Emmanuel Acho, EA, Texas X, has something to say about the Dallas Cowboy quarterback. He did it on that Chinese venue we call TikTok.
What do you mean Chinese venue?
Oh, the Chinese are looking at us. They're spying on us with the TikToks.
I can't believe people
right
believe
now,
that.
somewhere in Beijing, they're discussing the Dak.
I'm gonna leave that alone.
The Dak Prescott issue because they saw it on TikTok because of EA or Emmanuel Acho. Listen to this.
It's time we admit it. We've seen Dak Prescott's ceiling. He's capable of being a liability, and you can't have that at quarterback. Joe Burrow wasn't a liability. Josh Allen didn't play great, but he wasn't a liability. Patrick Mahomes on one leg wasn't a liability. Daniel Jones, Dak Prescott, liabilities in this round of the playoffs. Jalen Hurts, heck, wasn't a liability. We have seen Dak Prescott's ceiling. He is capable of having elite performances. Last week, 5 touchdowns, no interceptions. Got to acknowledge that. But you can't win if your quarterback is capable of being a liability. Special teams play good enough to win. Defense played good enough to win. CeeDee Lamb played good enough to win. Dak Prescott didn't play good enough to win, period. Don't let anybody make an excuse. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Don't let anybody tell you the $160 million quarterback needs more help. No, he needs to stop throwing interceptions, and he needs to stop being a liability, period.
See, I missed the part in the game where CeeDee Lamb was throwing it to himself. Like, look, you were making some great points, and then you throw CeeDee Lamb in there, play good enough to win. Who threw him? Who got him the 150 yards that he had? Look, first of all, Acho didn't tell us anything that, it wasn't breaking. It just felt like a hot take because he was animated. Right.
Well, what do you say to him?
This is what, to who? To Emmanuel?
He is making his TikTok-ish point. And
first of all, there's certain people that you have to watch who you debate with, because whether you are right, he's so smart he can talk you into thinking that you lost the debate. It's a very smart. The Acho brothers are very, very smart, and the smart people, they trick you, they mind trick you into thinking you lost the debate. So what I'll say to him is, what do you want us to do? Right. And they got me to thinking, because you asked that question in the pre-show. And if we weren't in the era where everybody finds out everything, Rob, and this is two-sided. There's two sides to it. There's the teams that are looking for quarterbacks in the draft, and then there are the teams that have veteran quarterbacks that they don't know if they're the guy, right? So if you knew, if Jerry wouldn't find out if they started shopping him just to get feelers. If they started getting feelers for him, if they thought Dak wouldn't find out, would they do it? Would they just take feelers? I'm not saying you're calling anybody in off and saying, hey, take that. I'm just saying getting feelers of, hey, instead of going into the draft and trying to find a guy that you don't know if it's going to turn into anything, you do have a first-round pick. You got a high first-round pick. Would you be interested in Dak Prescott for that first-round pick? And now you're not having to go into the draft and try and get a guy that you don't know if he's going to amount to a damn thing. And if you're a team that has a high draft pick and you're a little shaky on the quarterbacks because Bryce Young's going to be gone, C.J. Stroud's going to be gone, but you need a quarterback, and you have a high first-round pick, and you have a little bit of team around you, and you feel like your OC and your QB coach can do a little something with him, cut down on his turnovers. Are you getting a feeler from there's Derek Carr's, there's Dak Prescott's, there's Daniel Jones's, there's guys that are veterans that are shaky. We don't know what we really have in them. We don't know if they can really win it all or not. Should those teams that have those high draft picks and need quarterbacks take feelers on the guy like Dak Prescott?
Like maybe, say, Carolina with the head coach of Kellen Moore?
Like the Las Vegas Raiders.
Well, you just gave in your Sports Center. Isn't Kellen Moore interviewing in Carolina today?
Yes.
You and Dak get along pretty well.
Is trading Dak ever crossed your mind?
No, it hadn't, because I don't think there's takers. I think that.
Oh, wow. So then you don't think he can play at all?
No, I think he can play great. I just don't think he can play to the salary that I'm going to have to pay him. I mean, that's
that quote.
Well, no, but not yet. I could probably get the same production or close to it for a lot less, but also my expectations wouldn't be nearly as high. I like Dak. I do. But I don't think that there's.
So it's never.
He's not no, it has.
No, I'm just saying, because I'm trying to answer.
It's a tradable commodity
at this point. Okay, we've talked about the problems enough. What are the solutions? The solutions are to get feelers for him. Then
no, the solution is to look around the rest of the league at teams that have already gone through this, And
Who?
the year, well, there's a lot. And I'd
Right,
look
yeah.
at the teams that finally made the decision. You know what we're going to do? We're just going to adapt instead of continuing to search and keeping the lookout for the next Joe Burrow or Sunshine, whoever else we're looking for. Is I'm just going to start building an offense that's good for the average guy and not set aside for the great one to make plays. I'm going to do what they do with Jalen Hurts. I'm going to go find a bunch of talent.
But this is the thing. Like, you got to have for what went on with Jalen Hurts, for what goes on in San Francisco, what's going on in San Francisco, the two teams that are NFC titles, they have the perfect staff.
Yeah.
I don't think the Cowboys have the perfect staff. Like,
but
I don't think
right.
they have the perfect staff. So it's easy for us to sit here and
you
say,
mean the
well,
staff and the coaches or the players?
Coaches.
Well, yeah.
Like, it's easy for us to sit here and be like, well, why can't we do what they did with Jalen Hurts? You ain't got the right staff.
Well, I don't. Not today. I don't. That doesn't mean I won't by the end of the week. I look at what the rest of the league is, and I can affect my change with, like you just said,
Baltimore's done a good job with Lamar Jackson.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the blueprint's out there, and there's a lot of coaching trees to pull from. If I wanted to go find a runner that was really predicated on his legs, you could look at what Buffalo's been doing. You could look at Baltimore. You could certainly look at Sirianni. If I'm looking for a mobile guy to drop darts and really move my offense, maybe not vertically with his legs, but horizontally like Kyler, I'll look to that kind of tree to see who's utilizing that, because I don't think of Kyler as a running quarterback. I just think of him as a super mobile quarterback. And if I want to look at what are they doing, Andy Reid and how they've used Pat Mahomes. Now, I'm not getting Pat Mahomes,
you ain't getting Pat
but
Mahomes.
I'm getting the idea behind that offense.
But first of all, I don't know Kellen Moore. Let's say Kellen Moore doesn't get the Panthers job. He can't do that.
That can't.
I'm talking about Kellen Moore can't. He's not capable of doing what Sirianni and Kyle Shanahan are doing.
Right.
He ain't capable of that.
You're right.
But that's what I'm saying. So at this point, what are the solutions? The solutions are to get fillers. If you feel like, and again, Jerry says he still believes in Dak.
I do too.
But if you don't, then what's the solution? Oh, I'm gonna just keep paying him because I paid him.
Well, you're kind of stuck.
Solution?
Well, you kind of stuck there, because to make the trade, you got to have a taker, and to make the cut, you got to swallow a whole bunch of hurt. So I'm stuck. I don't disbelieve in Dak. In fact, I feel better today because I know now exactly who you are. I'm not going to be under the perceived idea that you're something that you're not, that you're going to be able to separate and consistently make the kind of plays to make me better all the time around you with talent. I've come to that realization, and there's going to be some painful cuts. It's going to suffer on defense. In fact, in about 18 minutes or so, we're going to look at the defensive side of the ball on free agency, and now there's some difficult questions to answer, because I still got to pay Dak, and I got some franchises that's going to right tackle or tight end or I don't know, running back. I don't know. I got some decisions to make, and it's going to affect the defense because I have got to protect my quarterback. He cannot do it by himself. I'd love to trade him. I can't.
Well, I think I sort of agree with Acho in the sense of like more help. More help. You sound like LeBron. How much more help does he need? You had 2,000-yard rushers. You had a top 3 defense. CeeDee Lamb's a Pro Bowler. Dalton Schultz is one of the better tight ends. How much help do y'all want to get? Y'all want to get Justin Jefferson? And you want Justin Jefferson, and you want Jamar Chase in the slot?
I do.
I mean, but how much help you want to get? That's what I'm saying. You have to try and get fillers and hope he don't find out.
But
what is the point?
You are a talk radio host in San Antonio.
Why you keep running him back?
Well,
why you keep running him back?
I would love to trade him. Who's going to take him? Everything you just described, every GM in the country knows already.
But this is the thing, Rob. Every GM and every coach thinks they can fix everything.
Nah, I don't think so.
Yes, they do. Why do you think Carson Wentz keeps getting jobs?
Oh, because he's one dude that keeps hiring him. It's the same guy.
No, the point of it is, Rob, is all these guys keep getting jobs. What do you think? You think nobody's going to take Dak, but people are taking Carson Wentz? He's had 4 teams.
They'd love to have Dak as a free agent, but not at $45 million. I think that there is a market for Dak at 30. I think there's a huge market for Dak at 20.
I think the Saints and the Patriots would take. I'm not saying they would do it, and that's just going off the top of my head. This is just going off the top of my head. The Saints and the Patriots would take a hard look if they called about Dak. If the Cowboys called the Saints and the Patriots about Dak, they think about it. Maybe they call him back and say, "No, we're good." but you got to take a hard look at it.
You know what you
There's
have to
t-
give
there's
up
other
for
te-
$45 million?
It's not dollar for dollar in the NFL.
It's pretty close.
It's not dollar for dollar.
You have to.
That's NBA is dollar
no,
for
what
dollar.
I'm saying is what you'd have to give up is whether that talent comes to the Cowboys or it's just flat cut. You got to find space for that money.
Every team has 40 put aside for when they find their guy. Every team.
Well, that's not the guy. He's not the guy. We used it and we
not
proved.
to Dallas.
Well, not to anybody.
Not to Dallas.
Dak is never going to be anything more than what he is right now, whether he's playing in Dallas or Carolina. He's Kirk Cousins.
No, everywhere is different. Everywhere is different. Because guess what? Guess what? Under Doug Peterson, Nick Foles won a Super Bowl. Everywhere else, he stunk.
And he did it for 6 weeks and disappeared again.
It's not like that for every staff. Because if Dak Prescott was with Kyle Shanahan, he'd be in the NFC title game.
They don't need him.
But what I'm telling you is, it's not this. It's not this. If you suck here, it means you're gonna suck there. It doesn't mean that.
Find somebody else that resurrected their career.
What do you mean?
Tell me one. Tell me one recently that went from Dak to greatness.
Think about that. He didn't go to greatness.
Geno Smith was
better than Russell Wilson, but I digress.
No, I'm just saying it does. We know who Dak is.
No,
there's no crime in that.
No. Yeah, look, I'm not a Dak believer, Rob.
I don't think you are.
But the thing about it is, everywhere is different. But every coaching staff is different.
But they all know this is who he is. It's been proven. Two coaches.
I'll give you one. Before he tore his ACL, Jameis Winston was playing like the MVP under.
Jameis can't even step his foot onto a field.
Pull up his numbers under Sean Payton.
He had a hell of a year.
No, pull up his numbers under Sean Payton. You asked me a question.
He hasn't resurrected his career
because he got Dennis Allen. Before he tore his ACL, he was balling for the Saints.
The talent around him playing in a crappy division.
All I'm telling you is, if he was with Kyle, you can't say that. Because Brock Purdy is not a good quarterback.
I've seen Dak. I know who he is. He's going to throw an interception.
Brock Purdy's not a good quarterback. He's just with a great staff. Have you seen what happened to Matt Ryan when Kyle Shanahan left? It's not the same just because you move. It's not the same. Matt Ryan went to the tank.
Matt Ryan was 10. Yeah, he was
a Super Bowl QB and he won an MVP under Kyle Shanahan.
Yeah, he'd reached
Kyle Shanahan left and he stunk up the place.
So did all the other talent. I mean, he lost a lot around. I'm not defending Matt Ryan, but we know who Dak is. Everybody knows who he is.
That wouldn't be. You can't say he'll be the same under a different staff. You can't say that.
You change staff, he's the same cat.
No, he's not.
No, he's the same cat he was in Washington.
No, he's not.
He's the same dude.
No,
yes, he is.
No, he's not.
He's a 9, 10 win, 12 win guy.
No, he's not.
What are you talking about?
He's better at Minnesota. He's better at Minnesota.
Just because he's been there longer.
No, he's just better. Kirk Cousins is not. Kirk Cousins and
Washington. Mendoza.
In Washington, he was all right.
He is Mendoza.
He got better.
He's the Mendoza line.
He got better, though.
Yeah, he got to the Mendoza line.
He got better.
He is the average quarterback, and he got better. He just got different. He's the same dude he was in Washington.
Not really.
Oh.
Not really.
Dak is Kirk. We know who he is. There's nothing wrong with that. But once you know, you adjust.
I'm not saying that he's not, but I'm just saying he may be different under Bill Belichick.
Oh, well, I think I'll give you that.
He may be different under Josh Allen. I don't know. I don't know.
What draft pick is he worth? That great calls coming in. If you have some discussion, get on the phone, 656-3776, 656-ESPN, because our next topic plays right into this.
What's this?
Money is on the line now. Zeke understands his place in the world. We're going to hear from Zeke as to whether he comes back to the Cowboys and how much money it will take to give up or to keep Zeke. We'll talk about that next. And weird Twitter coming out of the Cowboys front office.
Yeah.
Should Dak be angry?
Should someone be fired?